Michael Irvin, your thoughts on what this meant?
We often sit around and talk about what that locker room is like. And the one thing you hear all the time is how pure a locker room is. We don't care about color, where you came from, whatever. Can you help us win? And are you going to give all you got every time you step on the football field? And are you going to be yourself? And that last part is where I will focus on, because we get coaches coming in this league. And the number one thing I tell everybody is, whoever you are, show that when you walk in the locker room. Don't come and try to be anybody else, because they will recognize it. Don't come and try to pretend to know it all, because they will recognize it. What you just saw Antonio Pierce speak on will show you, will tell you a little peek of why he will be successful. First of all, he's been in the trenches, so you're going to respect that. Antonio Pierce wasn't the highest draft choice, and he ended up in the highest place, in a Super Bowl, winning a championship, leading his defense. He was the leader of that defense. I know I spent a lot of time with him early on when I retired, and I was going to New York. He and I used to hang out and grab some dinner every time I came to New York. That's why I'm so happy for him. We talked about it. He was just starting to get into coaching then. He was just starting to get into coaching. He was telling me about his dreams. And yesterday, I watched him take that podium. And when he took that podium, what you just heard, what did he do? He talked about raising up other people. He talked about the moment. Yeah, it was great for me, but what it was really great for is all of these other, when you're all of these other things that are happening, when you're a head coach, that's what you have to be about. I tell people all the time, great leadership is not about dominion over everybody. It's truly about servitude to everybody. Your job is to get the best out of everybody. So what do you have to do? You have to spend the time to get to understand everybody, so you know what button to flip when it's time to flip to get them going. That's what Antonio Pierce will do. And he first shows you that he cares about everybody by mentioning them in his big moment. Football players recognize that. And they say, I want to play for a guy like this. The number one thing I saw when I saw that football team, when you put up 24 points in the first half, more points than you scored in most of the games that you played in all game, I said, wow. I don't know if Josh McDaniels will ever get another head coaching job. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be real with you. I looked at Key and said, Josh McDaniels would never get another head coaching job, because you can see the difference in effort right there. Yep. Just the effort. And then you see the guys celebrating, smoking cigars. Y'all ain't in first place. Y'all ain't win nothing. But they're saying, yes, we did. We just won our freedom. We just won an opportunity to play like we want to play, and we just won our head coach. That's why they played that way. And I'm telling Mark Davis, don't make the same mistake. Your team spoke one time, and you did not listen. Your team is speaking again. I'm telling you this time, lend an ear.
Okay, Richard, you're from, go ahead, you're from Compton, California, just like Antonio is. Speak on that, please.
Well, it's just a respect factor. It's a love and a respect, and it's a regard factor. You can see it from the first day they announced it. Max Crosby took it out on his own to record on his phone and say, hey, Raider Nation, be prepared. It's going to be a lot different. How excited he was, how ecstatic he was. And then it translated to the field. He had 3 sacks in the game. He had 3 sacks in the game. He played like a defensive player of the year. He's out there minutes. When you look at the post-game speech that he gave in the locker room, you watch just Davante Adams. Davante Adams is hanging on his every word. You could just see the respect and appreciation they have for this man. And it should say something about the way Josh McDaniels was. So every coach, every team that's looking to hire him needs to just watch this tape. This team hated him. The players hated him. This is like ding dong, the witch is gone.
That is correct.
They changed their whole attitude, their effort, their demeanor, their approach to the game. How hard they played changed when nothing else changed but the head coach. The rest of the staff is still in place. The game plans are still pretty much the same. The playbook is the same. The thing that changed was the head coach. And this is a testament. Stop hiring these head coaches based off offensive schemes, and he is the genius. If he played and he had his success and Tom Brady was there, that should be an asterisk. That should be an asterisk. It's going to be different. Watch how he was with Tom Brady and without Tom Brady. If a guy that you're trying to hire We're talking about the Joe Judges of the world. The Matt Patricias of the world. If their success was connected to a time Tom Brady was the quarterback of their team, then it should have an asterisk. You should be very careful hiring these people. Now, you inject Pierce into this, and you just see when he's going up to players, how they're looking at him, how they're embracing him, how they appreciate him. Those are guys that are probably ready to run through a wall for that man, and that matters in this game. It doesn't matter in a game where you're obviously a better team than the New York Giants, but it don't matter later on. That's why they smoking cigars, playmaker. They smoking cigars because they know this is about to be different. The talent that we have on this team is finally going to be able to showcase itself instead of us underwhelming week in and week out defensively. They held the team. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a shutout for a while. It looked like it was going to be a 0. He was going to hold them to 0 points, and then they gave up a little bit at the end. But I think this is a cool testament to how things can change and how great impact a head coach can have outside of just the X's and O's.
And it tells the owners, listen, let me tell you something. It's like, stop trying to hire people that connects with you. Hire people that connect with the locker room because you don't have to lead the suits. You got to lead the uniforms. You guys in the front office, I call those suits. The guys in the locker room, I call them the uniforms. Hire the people that know how to lead the uniforms. Antonio Pierce know how to lead the uniforms. Stop hiring people that can hang out with the suits.
So, like Michael, I work closely with Antonio Pierce at ESPN. I got to know him very well. I have nothing but the highest regard for him because he's real.
He's real.
He is exactly what he appears to be. There's no song and dance to him. When he spoke, I listened. It was a beautiful thing to watch yesterday, a team play happy football, a team play free, a team play for the head coach instead of in spite of the head coach the way they've been playing. They threw their rookie quarterback into the fire. Aiden O'Connell's a 4th-round pick out of Purdue. And they just said, you know what? Let's just go do this. And they did a 30-6 number on the Giants. Now next, is it Sunday night? Yeah, Sunday night they got the Jets who are going to come in about 1.5 favored over them. But I like where this team is heading. I think he made a statement yesterday as the leader of this team, and then they made an historical statement, as he pointed out, after the game. And I think he's got a great chance to keep this job going forward as the permanent head coach. And to Michael's point, they made one mistake, did Mark Davis with Rich Bisaccia, who the players all wanted. Well, don't do it again. Here we go again, and this just feels like it could go places.
Yeah, and it's so right for Raider Nation. I mean, you know, he'll tell you there were people with Raider jerseys on right there, and they were all tensed in and looking, and we kept looking and saying, hey, you guys going to be okay now. Don't worry. You got a good one now. Only because, man, I'm telling you, you know players when you meet players and you see them in the locker room and how they are. There's a reason Antonio Pierce was a leader in New York on that team. This is New York. This is a big team, big lights. Antonio Pierce was the leader because he knows how to move around the locker room. He knows how to pull the best out of those guys. And it's just an incredible thing to watch. It really is an incredible thing. I was so happy for him. Kia, that's all we talked about. Man, what a great job. Because I was there when he first started talking about it. I'm telling you, it's an incredible journey. I'm just thankful that I saw it and then saw that yesterday.
Yeah, and Richard, back to you. Go ahead.
I'm just excited for these players. I'm excited for these players because they're led by men they respect, a man they have regard for, a man they want to go out there and play for. They come into work with a different attitude. And that was the thing the overarching theme that when you hear your coaches talk about it, the players, I don't know if you guys heard about that big meeting that they had where everybody just went in and said their piece about Josh McDaniels. That should tell you everything you need to know. If all these people have so much bad to say about this man, it's a reason why he's not having that success. And you sign him for a 6-year deal. Again, to Irv's point, that was a phenomenal point. These owners, that's why they say Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a job because he's not connecting with these owners in this way. He's not connecting with the owners in the way that you. But I don't give a dang because we're not playing with the owners. I'm not going out there and trying to motivate these owners to go out there and win a ball game. And if you keep hiring people like that, you're going to keep having losing seasons and losing organizations because you're not doing it. You're not actually worried about the product on the field. You're worried about when I got to go to dinner and I got my country club buddies and I want my head coach to come to dinner and we want to chop it up and he doesn't drink the same beer as I or has the same wine connoisseur and taste that I do. I don't care about none of that. I don't care if Antonio Pierce gives great speeches or not. Can he win football games? Can he get these men where we need to go? And he can.
And to this, before we move on, because, of course, I work on other shows, and we reported on the other show about that meeting. They reported after that meeting, honestly, they said, and this was Ian and the guys that they reported, they said that meeting broke Josh McDaniels.
Yeah. It
broke him. They said after that, he I don't know, he kind of dazed out in the middle of the game, was not calling the plays, he didn't seem engaged. So everybody got on him so hard that it broke him. And they had to make a decision. Now, that blew my mind, you know what I mean? Because if you're going to walk in acting like you don't care, then why do you care if you don't care? But the reality is, then that wasn't you. You were trying to pretend to not care and be somebody you are not. And then when you got something, you weren't prepared to have it. And that's the sad part about it. And the whole moral to the story is, especially in a locker room, you better be pure or you're going to get found out. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah. Final beautiful point about Antonio Pierce. He was born in Compton as a Raider fan when they were the L.A. Raiders. He said the other day, I was literally born to be part of this because I grew up the biggest Raider fan. I love that. Yeah. Love this story, and we're all rooting for you, Antonio. Look forward to talking to you here on this show sometime soon. Up next,
I'm going to get him.
Yes, we are. Up next, we're about to debate Mahomes versus Tua. What happened?
I'm going to get Antonio Pierce. We're going to get him.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.